Thanks for tuning into Photographiliac podcast. I'm your host, B. Smitty. To start this off, I want to give a shout out to everyone on Facebook. I just set up the new Photographiliac Facebook page, and getting a bunch of likes to start off. I'm just gonna say my latest notifications. Just gonna shout out some of you fine folks out there who's supporting this stream. I appreciate you. I've got Susie, John, Ashley, Andy, Lisa, Colleen, Mike, Rita, Amanda, Danny, Jeff. I appreciate you. And also over on Instagram, I want to give out some shout outs over there. Amber, Izzy, Kev, Vicky, Danielle, Jen, and Kate. Appreciate the support. So if you're interested in joining in on others who are liking the Facebook page, just search Photographiliac on Facebook. You can find us there, and on Instagram at Photographiliac Pod. So I always do it like updates in the Instagram stories. I do it on Twitter as well. The Twitter handle is at Photography Pod. So if there's any changes with the dates or anything like that, with an upload or any type of news information, will either be on Twitter or also on the Instagram stories. So that's where you can find updates to the podcast. Any changes or anything coming up that's different, and that type of thing. And before we get into this too, I picked up a McRib for the first time ever from Mickey D's. Never had it, and I always hear about it, but just never been that interested in getting it. And I always hear it was better back in the day and it's changed and all that, but for some reason I was really liking the idea of it for the first time. So I picked it up, and I don't know, I gotta say it's like one of my favorite sandwiches. I thought it was really good. I just go straight up, no pickle, no onion. It was really good. Maybe because it was just different. That could have just been the main thing. It was just, I never have any type of food like that. Me having barbecue is pretty rare. There's a really good barbecue joint out in North Olmsted that's Famous Dave's, and I like to get like the pulled chicken sandwich out there. It's pretty good, and it's kind of a rare thing though. I feel like it's maybe, I don't know, it could even be once every other year I get from there. It's not often. But I used to get it a lot with my old roommate Pat used to live with me. We used to get it like on Sundays, probably like once a month for quite some time. But just these days especially, I think that's what is a bummer with the pandemic. It's kind of changed, I think, the way a lot of people live their lives and just that type of thing. But hopefully 2021 coming up, a lot of things will kind of get back into shape, get back to normal. I know I'm looking forward to 2021. I think myself, I'll be definitely making better decisions for myself and working harder on things again for myself. Just focusing on a lot of things that I want to be doing and that type of thing. And this podcast is it's become a huge passion of mine. I posted on the Twitter and the Instagram to where the game plan for 2021 is to have 2 story episodes like this a week with 1 bonus episode a week as well. It's kind of like the bonus it's not even a bonus episode, it's just like an update episode. I'm not too sure how to really name it, but it's going to be more of like maybe like an industry type thing. Like, maybe talk about cameras, talk about, it could really be anything. It's more so just almost like a news style thing without, it's not the news, but I think you get it, what I'm saying. It's just an update episode, just a conversation. And so yeah, 2 story episodes and an update episode a week. And then I'll be working on something with the Patreon page as well. But as that's in its just a very beginning stage, my I don't want to put too much on there until there's stuff going on over there. Obviously, I have the Discord going on too. I've done two 24-hour links to the Discord, and that would be something to give the Twitter a follow to check out as well. Is I'll randomly do these 24-hour Discord link to where you can become a member of the Discord channel. And if you want to shoot me a DM on Instagram at Photographiliac Pod, I'll shoot you a one-time only like gimmick link that will get you to the Discord. Normally it's going to be like for Patreon members, I shouldn't say normally, if you are a Patreon member, you do get that membership. And then like I'll have like these little links that are only going to be available for the specific time for people who are supporting the socials and the podcast that get to see it for that time period. But yeah, once you are a Patreon member, you'll definitely get that link. And I'll be doing special things for Patreon members as well. That's going to be completely different, but the Discord is going to have opportunities for other people to join in as well. So yeah, hit me up with DM if you're interested in joining that. I do a little bit more. I'll add more photos and more just random updates within Discord about kind of just behind the scenes information as well. So it'll be a fun place, for you to comment and chat too. I'd love to hear your opinions on these shows, and maybe like give your what you'd like to see in the future. What you'd like me to cover. If you know some good photography stories that you want me to do on the show, I'd love to hear it for sure. All right, so let's get into this episode. Kimberly Noel Kardashian was born October 21st, 1980 in Los Angeles, California, the daughter of Kris Jenner and Robert Kardashian. Kim got her first stint in show business as friend and stylist of Paris Hilton, appearing as guest on various episodes of the Hilton-starring reality TV series The Simple Life between 2003 and 2006. In 2006, Kim entered the business world with her two sisters, opening a boutique shop, Dash, in Calabasas, California. In February 2007, a sex tape made by Kim and Ray J in 2002 was leaked. Kim filed a lawsuit against Vivid Entertainment, who distributed the film as Kim Kardashian Superstar. She later dropped the suit and sold it for a reported $5 million, allowing Vivid to release the tape. Several media outlets later criticized her and the family for using the sex tape's release as a publicity stunt to promote her upcoming reality show. In October 2007, Kardashian, in addition to her mother Kris Jenner, her step-parent Caitlyn Jenner, her siblings Kourtney and Khloe, and Rob Kardashian, and half-sisters Kendall and Kylie Jenner, began to appear in a reality television series, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. During this time, she did a bunch of cameos as well, getting into movies and also hosting a WrestleMania. And pretty much just kind of flowed her way into what was to become social media. Social media wasn't even like a term, during the beginning of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but by the time 2010 came around, that word became a thing. And she was really the pioneer of being a social media influencer. 2010, she was really taking a lot of social media endorsements and pretty much paving the way to what social media influencers would become today. And she was dominating the social media from the get. And in 2014, she truly broke the internet, being on the cover of Paper Winter Issue magazine. You just pretty much, you could see her whole ass, bare ass, with the caption "Break the Internet," and she truly did break the internet with this. There's pretty much a complete nude photo. There's the classic, now it's classic, almost like iconic wine image or champagne image of her, holding the glass, and it's spraying up and over onto a glass that's sitting on her ass. So she really did. That was to me a very big, early on kind of social media moment. And that year, 2014, she was really slamming down the gas with when it came to success moving forward. She just had so much going on. And she released a mobile game, Kim Kardashian Hollywood, which earned 1.6 million in the first 5 days of release, and became the top 5 earning games in the Apple Store that year. In her Time 100 profile in 2015, Martha Stewart called Kardashian West a media phenomenon, nearly doubling her earnings from 2014's 28 million to 2015's 53 million. And in May 2015, Kim Kardashian released a selfie photo book titled Selfish. The selfie photography of Kim Kardashian West, featuring many never-before-seen personal images from one of the most recognizable and iconic celebrities in the world. From her early beginnings as a wardrobe stylist, Kim Kardashian West has captured herself into becoming one of the most recognizable celebrities in the world. And that's, to me, Kim is definitely probably the most recognizable person. Everyone knows who Kim Kardashian is. And really, like it or not, Kim it has become like a true American icon. I mean, when it comes to like an iconic figure, I mean, it's true. I mean, everyone knows who she is. And Kim Kardashian has grown an influential online and social media presence, and that, it really goes like without saying. I mean, when actually, as I'm recording this right now, I'm going to look up her exact followers just on Instagram. This is a live take here. She has 192 million followers on Instagram alone. And she's always been known for taking selfies, and is called the Queen of Selfies by the New York Times. In an interview with Adweek, Kardashian had mentioned that she has been taking pictures of herself for decades, and said, quote, "I took my first selfie in 1984, and that opens up in the book. And for the past decade, I've carried a big digital camera. I think it's just fascinating to see the process of what types of photos evolve. Mine started off on digital cameras, and then they went to a BlackBerry, and then a smartphone. There's just such an evolution of the selfie, and I captured that, I think, really well." The photo book was announced in August 2014, and the idea to assemble a book from selfies first came to Kardashian when she was thinking of what to give to her husband Kanye West as a Valentine's Day gift. Kim said, quote, "I couldn't think of what to get Kanye for Valentine's Day, and so I was like, all guys love it when a girl sends them sexy pics. So I had my assistant Stephanie get a Polaroid camera, and we were taking photos around the entire house, making this cool book." Kim also commented on the idea during an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, saying, quote, "It ended up turning out so cool, we came up with the idea for the selfie book, so I'm going to make some super racy." Kim's book ended up being titled Selfish, and was released on May 5th, 2015. Prior to the official date, Kim released a limited edition version of the book on April 16th, 2015. It featured Kim in an alternative cover of a selfie of her wearing a red bikini. The version became available on gift.com with a limited availability of 500 copies of numbered and signed version of the book, which reportedly were sold out in a minute. The new and updated volume of Selfish was scheduled to be released on October 11, 2016. The revised and expanded edition would contain 64 additional pages featuring Kardashian selfies, including many that were never seen before. Kat Brown of The Telegraph described the book as, quote, "unexpectedly revealing and oddly moving." Madeline Roth of MTV News noted the book's significance by saying that it was, quote, "the first of its kind on the book market today, a literal book of selfies by one of the most famous human beings in the world." Gregory Babcock, a writer for Complex magazine, said, quote, "The pages of Selfish reveals what may seem to be insipid and overblown initially is actually a far smarter, more calculated window into the life and times of one of our culture's most relevant public figures through the simple, albeit absurd, art of documenting herself." Leah Bourne of Stylecaster said, quote, "Kardashian has ushered in a new kind of fame, one in which you can be famous for seemingly being nothing more than yourself. With this book, she might also be ushering in a new form of autobiography." I've heard that a lot over the years, where Kim was or is famous for doing nothing, and I highly doubt that. I'll go on the record saying that she's probably doing a lot more work than a lot of people out there. Writing for The Guardian, Jonathan Jones wrote that the photo book is, quote, the ultimate slap in the face for anyone who ever pointed a camera with high hopes of being the new Henri Cartier-Bresson or Don McCullen. Also adding, quote, Kardashian's selfie taking is, in reality, a sustained act of self-exploitation in which she sells herself as commodified, leered-at flesh. That last quote by Jonathan Jones is a glaring example of not understanding the photograph to me. And I don't mean the photo from this book, but as a whole, doesn't understand photography. You hear this a lot of critics when something new arrives. Some people will have a hard time with change. William Eggleston dealt with this and went on to become a legend when it comes to photographing everyday life, and is pretty much a pioneer in color photography. Martin Parr was not wanted into Magnum Photo Agency by many members, but succeeded, and now one of the top and notable photographers for Magnum. Since I brought up Martin Parr, he released a book of self-portraits in 2000 titled Auto Portrait, and then an expanded version happened to be released in 2015. In my opinion, 100 years from now, selfies from this time are going to be looked back at just as much, if not more, than other photographs. It's easily forgotten that social media, it's pretty much in its infancy. And Time magazine described Kim Kardashian as, quote, the first lady of fame. There was early reporting that the book was a flop and only sold 32,000 copies, considering her massive following, but that number only represented a small segment and didn't actually take in for everything. It ended up being into 4 printings, selling over 125,000 copies. And pretty much this book now, if you want to buy it, you have to pretty much spend, I think, 10 times the price. I think towards the end you can get this book. I think Amazon had a sale towards the end of $10, but from looking on Amazon right now, it's $100. So there's value in that book now for sure, and I would only expect for that to go up over time. If you want the red bikini book, I've seen that on eBay anywhere for $300 to $500. So there's definitely value in the book, and even just to think about that, that previous quote. I think any photographer, even if they wanted to sell 32,000 copies of a book, I think there'd be some happy campers out there. That's for sure. So for her passing 100,000 copies, 125,000 copies, whatever that ends up being out there, it's pretty amazing to reach that. I also wanted to add to that statement too, about that writer or whoever he was that talked about exploiting herself or whatever that quote was. Is, to me, it's no different. It'd be one thing if Kim Kardashian was sitting there one day and like, all right, I'm gonna, like that day she took all the Polaroids. If she's like, all right, I'm just gonna take a bunch of nude pics, selfies, and all that today. I'm just gonna sell this book because I know it's just gonna make money. It's gonna sell. That would be a different vibe, I think, for me. But I think the fact that she actually took selfies before, like, really the selfie was a selfie, and she had, a decade of documenting selfies, and obviously there's more selfies as time went on because obviously it became a phone, something you had in your pocket. But it's something she was doing for a long period of time, and that's what that book became. It was like a documentation of her selfies. To me, it's no different than a documentation of, gas stations or something like that. That it's a body of work at that point. And I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think, to me, I'll defend photography. I always defend photography. So that's how I feel on that. And that's going to conclude this episode on Kim Kardashian and her book Selfish. You can definitely find this book on eBay, like I was saying. You can find kind of not so great quality versions of it, like pretty beat up versions of it for around maybe like $30 on eBay. So if you want to add this to your collection, you can find them on eBay. I wouldn't be surprised if it's re-released one day as well, with maybe another expanded version, or maybe just a re-release. I don't know. I could see it happening though, for sure. But yeah, I want to thank you for the support again on Instagram at Photographiliac Pod. And if you want to support the podcast, if you go to Photographiliac.com, that'll take you to the Patreon page. That's actually going to be updated here soon, to where that link is going to take you to a page with a bunch of links. So I can kind of plug that website, and it'll take someone to have the Patreon link, and Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all the different channels that you can find this, and the Instagram and Twitter. So it's basically like a hub for people to go to and then find where they want to go from there. So if someone wants to go to Spotify, they want to go to Apple, they want to check out the Patreon, it's all there in one space. So it's not a bunch of links that's being sped out all the time. I think that's what I'm going to kind of go with. I did also get some new business cards ordered, and I'm pretty hyped on that. I was totally thinking about American Psycho while I was at in the classic Your Business Card Sucks video on YouTube. But yeah, the American Psycho scene is classic. And yeah, so I'm pretty excited on getting those. And I went with some classic QR codes on there, because I think the QR code is underestimated. I think someone seeing QR codes are going to be curious about what they are. And but yeah, I threw a couple of those on the back of the card. And yeah, I'm going to go with the classic Obey route, the old school late 80s, early 90s guerrilla marketing. Just kind of leave the cards around, pass the cards out, get the podcast out there. You know what I'm saying? That's what I've been working on a lot, is just getting awareness out there for the podcast. I've shot some emails, getting some feelers, trying to work with some people too. So definitely looking forward to this podcast into 2021. And again, I want to thank you for your support, and I'll talk to you very soon.